okay, so I didn't know this guy. Bricky apparently does do stuff about RTS games, which I need to play more of. So yeah, that'll be fun. It's fine, Vince. We'll get to it eventually. And if not, I'll try to react to it off screen and then just post it over on YouTube.
You have my permission to scream into the void of the abyss.
I am the abyss.
Exactly, scream at you.
Oh my god. Anyway, I played Red Alert 3. It's very silly, and for some reason, each side that you pick, there's 3. You always get a hot assistant? Like, it's live action. There's live action people in here. I don't know why that was a thing. Also, for some reason, Tim Curry is here. He's playing the Russian...
What will Tim Curry be?
Tim Curry's playing the Russian premiere. Okay. Let's go into... I've actually played Red Alert 3. Fun fact, I once played a mission on Red Alert 3 with an AI helper, because this was a point where the missions were giving us AI helpers. I accidentally didn't pause the game and came back to a victory screen. Yeah. That was a thing that happened when I was a kid. I was very confused, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just go to the next mission.
I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me.
There's Tim Curry.
I'm escaping to
The one place not corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Tim Curry is going to space. In space, there is no capitalism. But particularly, if he's going to the moon, well, what else is not on the moon? Atmosphere. No atmosphere, no protection from the sun. Those rays are going to be blasting him like crazy. Radiation, new levels. And you know what that means? What? It means he needs our sponsor today, Blenders Eyewear. The sun? Cringe, painful, what? My eyes squinty, radiation. Blenders Eyewear, great, excellent, build quality, feel excellent, the look, not cringe. Sun diffused. Because Blenders Eyewear is a fantastic and affordable option for you to wear in case the sun ever gets a little uppity. They feel good. I love their colors. These ones are purple because purple is one of my favorite colors. Bricky fact. Magenta is my favorite color, but purple is pretty up there. And right here, smooth.
I prefer green.
No matter where I'm at, the beach, the mall, outer space, or in my own home right here, these things have got me covered. The Blenders Eyewear feels great. I think they look great, and they come at an affordable cost with a variety of excellent styles, colors, and frames for you specifically. If you want to tell the sun it's cringe, you go to blenderseyewear.com and use code BrickyVIP for 15% off. Check the description now if you want to cop yourself some of their fantastic choices. And let's talk about Tim Curry. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently doxing any and all allied players using cryocopters. So it seems my prior video on Kane's Wrath reached out into the void of YouTube and grabbed...
I've never played Command & Conquer, but I want to now. Because it's an art... when I was younger, I loved RTS games. I wasn't good at them, but I love them. But I didn't get a chance to play a lot of them. The one that I played, I hope any of you who played RTS games will remember, Universe at War. It was a fun little game for me. It was weird. It was... I can't remember the name. There was the hierarchy, the Atlanteans. Like, it was Earth getting invaded by aliens called the hierarchy, which use, like, typical alien weapons. Giant walkers, flying saucers, giant mutated brutes, zombies.
For mutant broodies.
Yeah. Oh, and... I think it was was it the Vanu were the final ones? Who were a group of mostly all robots. They were blue and white, but yeah.
All of its players out of their geriatric homes to reminisce on the good times of that fantastic game. I had a whole lot of, I've never seen your content, Bricky, but Kane's Wrath was my shit, and god damn it, I'm glad we have that in common. So I'm nothing if not business oriented, so why not talk about another Command & Conquer game, the last decent one, and the last one before EA completely crushed its franchise, Command & Conquer Red Alert 3.
Oh, wait, I forgot Red Alert 3 was a Command & Conquer game, because I did play this one. Its story is very silly.
Out very quickly after Kane's Wrath. Red Alert 3, the final Red Alert game of the beloved Red Alert series of Command & Conquer, because there's a couple of variations of it, Generals and Tiberium Wars and Red Alert. And the third game came out in 2009, and it came out right after Kane's Wrath, which I won't lie, gave me a little bit of whiplash. Red Alert 3 might be the polar opposite of the Tiberium Wars games. While Tiberium Wars focused a bit more on macro, this game focused a lot more on micro. In Tiberium Wars, while it was still a little cheesy, it took its topic somewhat seriously. In Red Alert 3, it is all force. It is all memes.
We are traveling back in time.
Grounded in Tiberium Wars and Red Alert.
Let me tell you guys the story of Red Alert 3. The Russian premier, along with a scientist and his general, go back in time to kill Albert Einstein to stop the study of nuclear fission. I am not making any of this up. I wish I was.
Kill them like watermelon!
It is a total fucking parody. However, that doesn't make it bad. It makes it specific. It dedicates itself to a particular audience. Those who prefer the micro gameplay, those who prefer the art style and the voice acting.
See,
and
like
the
you have
cheese.
assistants right
Red Alert 3 is a game that I don't believe many people consider to be nearly as good as 1 and 2. Because while I did not play Red Alert 1 and 2, I do hear a lot of it's not quite the same. But it is still a classic source of fun over balance. Fun over overall, well, function and health. And that's not always a bad thing. You can't point at Modern Warfare 2, one of the most popular games ever, my childhood, and tell me, yeah, Bricky, that game was balanced. One of the best FPS games ever made, Titanfall 2, is an unbalanced mess. At least when you get really good at it. But it is still goddamn fun. And Red Alert 3,
people can go crazy fast.
It's some goddamn fun.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing great.
Be having too much fun. We'll talk about that in the campaign.
Nixon was framed and Kennedy was a commie?
What?
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Disclaimer. Deals with Soviets. Very evil, crazy Russians, Imperial Japan, all this kind of stuff. Russia, modern time, things going on right now in the world. It's not something I'm going to bring up. It's not something that actually matters in the context of this review. And this discussion of the game will be as if it's not happening. But I wanted to say it because we're all adults here, and I wanted to at least make it clear that, you know, elephant in the room. Okay, anyway.
It's a big elephant in the room.
So, the Russians invent time travel. Soviet Union is on the brink of collapse, and Tim Curry... and they decided to use their time machine to travel back to Brussels sprouts in 1927 and assassinate Albert Einstein. This changes the course of history, as nuclear warfare was never invented. And then Tim Curry becomes the new prime minister or supreme prime minister, whatever, of the Soviet Union. And the Russians are about to control the entire Western world. They are on the brink of victory instead of collapse, thanks to their assassination of Albert Einstein. However, with no Albert Einstein means no nukes. And, well, no nukes means a certain other nation didn't have any setbacks. So a combination of technologically advanced, feudal, and imperial Japan, known as the Empire of the Rising Sun, is now
led by, do you know who this is?
No.
It's Mr. Sulu. He's the empire of the. He's the emperor of the rising sun. I can't think of his real name right now.
Force. They are technologically superior, have crazy new stuff coming around, and they believe
giant robots.
World domination is their divine destiny. And they have begun a three-way world war between the Soviets, the Allies, and the Empire of the Rising Sun. The plot is just straight up shenanigans.
It is.
The entire thing is a vehicle for some of the dumbest dialogue ever written and some of the most school-level play acting you can get. It is riding that thin line of hilarious and cringy and constantly falls on both sides all the time. They decided to populate the entire main cast with either A-list celebrities or supermodels. All the in-game commandos are straight up supermodels in this game. They are the stereotype of each one. The Allies have a double pistol wielding blonde bombshell. The Soviets have the strong, tough sniper Dragunov Natasha commando, and the Japanese have a schoolgirl outfit, pigtails,
I don't
angry,
remember this,
angsty young girl with
I don't
powers,
remember
and the
this
cast.
part.
Holy
What?
fuck, the cast. You've got Tim Curry
Curry.
doing this Russian accent thing. You got J.K. Simmons as the president.
For those who don't know who J.K. Simmons is, I need pictures of Spider-Man and also Omni-Man. J.K. Simmons is great. He is a national treasure. Always protect J.K. Simmons because he's great.
President of the United States.
Yeah.
Jonathan Price is a field
I don't know who
marshal.
Jonathan
George
Price is.
Takei is the
George
fucking
Takei,
emperor.
yeah, that's his name.
Ric Flair is the goddamn commander, and
Ric
David
Flair.
Hasselhoff is the vice president. And the shit they say.
We have altered the space-time continuum.
And now that we have a common enemy, Bullpucky.
Bullpucky. Tim Curry.
I wasn't flirting, sir. I was just, you know, making conversation.
Oh my god.
Thrusting deeply into the motherland's tender nether regions.
Los Angeles is the hub of the Allied propaganda machine.
Freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, apple pie. Did I say freedom?
Oh my god.
Well, it's worth saying again.
I will root out the enemy within.
What?
You are made of stupid.
The sheer
Oh, yeah.
volume of A-list actors in
It's
this thing, in
insane.
like the complete farce that it is. Like, you can tell none of them are
Him,
taking it
yes,
seriously.
bowing.
Tim Curry is consistently laughing at his voice lines. And those are the takes they kept. It's surreal. Like, J.K. Simmons is actually a Japanese robot spy that they infiltrated to become the president. And then
Yeah.
George Takei just, like, rips out some wires and J.K. Simmons has a fucking meltdown. The ending of the Allied campaign has one of the briefing ladies, I forget her name, I think it's Jenna Atkinson, whoever, and the supermodel commando both dressed up to take you out on a hot date
What?
tonight. That's the ending of the Allied
I don't
campaign.
remember this at
Japanese
all.
campaign, same thing, but on a beach. And you know what's the best part about this?
What?
It translates over to gameplay.
What?
It's just as silly with its style and
yeah.
its units. So a bit ago, there was a Mario game. I forget which one.
The
And Mario
the
has-
Allies have a unit that's literally just some fake Sean Connery because he's a spy unit pretending to be 006 because he keeps talking like this. That stupid bear must have smelled my aftershave. And his whole thing is he can infiltrate buildings and take control of them or destroy them. They're goofy.
sombrero. And then a whole bunch of pasty ass fucking college students that look like me made a whole bunch of journal articles about why it's super fucking racist, you know, because they had nothing better to do with their time. And then right after that, all of the fans from like Mexico and stuff of Mario were like, yo, that's fucking dope. Yeah. Because he got a sombrero. And it made them all look like total clowns. I feel like this game...
that happens quite a bit, actually, especially in the gaming circles. Here's the things you have to know about us Mexicans. We love to be included. Like the Tequila Gundam, that's a thing in G Gundam. We love that. We love to see us people using our culture. We just don't like it when you screw around with it too much. Like, just going to Mexico, seeing the fun sombreros, piñatas, we love it. Anyway, besides that point.
Is that same test, just edgier. All of the factions are insane stereotypes. Everything. The Allies, the Russians, and the Japanese. They are all
He's doing
incredibly
calligraphy.
stereotypical. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in certainly an offensive way, but in a funny way. Red Alert 3 likes its stereotypes. It likes them a lot, and it uses them everywhere. Like, I asked some Russian friends of mine about like what they thought about Red Alert 3 when it came out, that super evil Russian stereotype, and apparently it was generally well received. They call it Klukva?
Klukva?
I'm pronouncing this very poorly, but
It's
just
fine.
that super over-the-top evil Russian stereotype. And apparently it's kind of funny because Red Alert is absolutely that. The Soviets, which are my personal favorite of the three factions, have war bears.
Yes, they have
conscripts
war
with
bears.
AKs and Molotovs. They have
Oh,
gulag
good God, I'm
flak
gone
troopers.
Thank you for the head pats. I don't have a head pat set for this model.
I love the gulag.
Yeah, they have conscripts.
They have the hammer. Favorite of the three factions have war bears. They have conscripts with AKs and Molotovs. They have
of course they do.
Gulag flak troopers.
Yeah.
They have the hammer tank and the sickle walker. Their engineers
Of course they do.
just
I think that was my good lung.
The submarines are going to sink at basically any moment.
What's that dripping sound? Are these scanners working?
And we can't forget about the Kirov airship.
Oh,
Drop another load.
it's literally a blimp.
That's nice.
The volume of like Soviet pride is so funny, but their patriotism is actually kind of cool. The sheer patriotism in some of their units is really fun to listen to, particularly the Soviet dreadnought, who just has some of the best voice lines.
Can you feel the Soviet might? Enemies of the Union shall burn.
And then you got the Apocalypse tank, who is the whole thing.
The apocalypse has begun. We will bury them.
Moving over, though, the Empire of the Rising Sun is a combination of feudal Japan, imperial Japan, and anime stereotypes.
Pretty much,
Go the anti-infantry route, where you have jets that kind of skim around, but then can turn into jets and fly around.
Oh yeah, they have transforming
helicopters
units
that fire missiles, enormous Oni mechs, and also tsunami tanks that literally scream the word cavalry. You've got like Naginata cruisers and Shogun battleships. The average Imperial warrior has a gun, but also a laser katana that he can charge you with.
You can tell someone had fun making
besides
this.
the Oni mechs and mecha, you also have like rocket angels and the commando. Also, you have the engineer, which, I mean, look at that walk cycle. Look at that run cycle. I actually like their style quite a lot. High-tech Japanese is a pretty common thing to do because it's such a high-tech country. But also at the same time, I like the combination of throwing it with Imperial Japan and having that Imperial Japanese nature to them. The zealotism they have in their divine right for world domination is very cool, but they also have this sort of professionalism. Certain units, particularly the Shogun battleship and the Wave Force artillery, one of my favorites, have this just very like calm, strong demeanor about them.
The day of the Shogun has arrived. They will soon bow to our flag. We
will take
them by force. The Shogunate will be pleased.
And then you contrast that with things like the Mecha Tengu and the Commando and Rocket Angels, and it becomes really fun. It's a nice hybrid. Fuck, man. The Commando's special ability literally creates the Imperial flag.
What? Oh yeah.
What else could you ask for? As far as the allies go, they themselves look a bit more generic. However, they are basically every single Western stereotype and
rolled up into
not just
one.
America, but also like British area combined. The sheer volume of nationalities is actually what's pretty cool about it. You've got your pretty standard like white peacekeeper cop kind of guy with the peacekeeper, the riot shield, and the shotgun. Your javelin troopers are all basically football players, literally saying lines like football players.
Sack 'em, blitz 'em. Here comes the Hail Mary.
The engineer is a complete fucking dweeb.
Excelsior, piece of pie.
Oh my god.
His jet ski, as well as the funniest thing ever. They've got a James Bond style spy that can bribe people to turn traitor. Guardian tanks and multi-gunners are by far the most evil of them all. The British.
What? They're Aussies.
Someone's a little cheesed off. Eat a tick.
Mirage tanks are incredibly French.
City fatal.
Hydrofoils are Jamaican.
Take their guns away. Scramble them eggs.
Really?
Big satellite laser truck is just a call center lady.
I don't remember this.
I can do for you? One moment, sir.
Century bombers have that deep southern accent.
No more belly aching from them.
And aircraft carriers are there to blow your ears out.
Aircraft carrier leaving port. Colin Proud.
In fact, there's actually a comment on my Kane's Wrath video that I think describes this a lot better than I can. I can't stress enough how important voice acting is in an RTS. You're going to be hearing the same voice clips hundreds of thousands of times.
So they either have to be funny and recognizable.
Ones are iconic and never leave your head.
True.
It's a great way to put it. When you're building stuff and clicking things and ordering people around, you're going to be hearing those voice lines again and again and again and again.
It's like when I was playing Dawn of War. I keep remembering the one line, or the two lines, from some of the units. We'll get it done. Or, we strike with the wrath of the righteous. Walk softly and carry a big gun. Beware the mutant, the demon, the heretic. But yeah. You have to be recognizable quite a bit. You alright?
No.
I'm loving all of this, honestly. But yeah. You have to be Very recognizable. Of course, everyone loves the one I know. Witness your doom! From the Psyker. Everyone loves that line. I'll split your thoughts open. Overcharge.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, Psykers are crazy.
And again, and they need to be good or else they're going to be so tiring. Keeping those sound effects up, keeping that voice acting
yeah, they have
solid
battle
is
dolphins.
paramount. And it's something that, despite the silliness, they do incredibly well in this game. This actually might be the reason why I enjoy Red Alert 3 so much, despite it being entirely inferior to Kane's Wrath. See, Red Alert's gameplay is actually the part I have the biggest problem with. There's a lot of things they did to the game that I either don't like on a personal level or simply feel like it's just not well balanced. For example, like harvesting your resources is massively cut down compared to Command & Conquer Kane's Wrath, where you have multiple refineries and multiple harvesters. You literally just place a refinery there and then just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which makes it really, really easy, but also more punishing. If you get rushed in Kane's Wrath, you have your base defenses, you have all your things you can make, and you can try to defend your harvesters. And they might kill 1 or 2 harvesters, but it doesn't kill your economy. In Red Alert, that's like your only harvester per field.
They don't
and you
focus
only
on harvesters.
2 right next to you. So a common strat, the Vindicator bombers on the Allies, fucking pricks, will just go over there and kill them. And now you're not getting any money until you build a new one. And I don't know how much you've been spending. That could really be a detriment. You've only got 2 harvesters. What if they kill both? How much shit are you gonna have to sell in order to get more? Like, there's no skill in actually harvesting. And there's very little skill needed to get rid of the harvesters. Soviet terror drones are a nightmare when it comes to that crap. Also, the game forgoes any and all upgrades. There are no upgrades to buy. No railguns or blue purifying flame, nothing like that. And all of your special like side abilities come from a tech tree that you need to pick around on the bottom left corner of the screen. And some of those are just flat out better than others. So some of those tech tree ability things are kind of cool. You got like the chrono shift from the Allies or the toxic bomb.
I would need every unit to have something incredibly rare, but also incredibly out of pocket voice line. Yeah, that would be very fun if I'm ever able to make an RTS game. We're just gonna have fun with the voice lines, I'll be honest.
Let's make everything either funny or cringy. And roll with
or
it.
The actual zero plane kamikaze for the Imperial Japan. But, you know, they're interesting, but they're not quite the same, and they don't offer as much utility and intrigue as they do
Black Hole Bomb.
But the game also has become more micro-heavy. Every single unit, they decide to give a special ability, and some of these abilities range from we had to pick something to absolutely ridiculous. Like Harvesters, for example. The Allies one allows them to go ahead and move their base. It's an outpost ability, whereas the Soviet one gives it a big shell to make it tankier, and the Empire one that turns around, stops harvesting, has a little gun on the top. The Imperial Warriors put their guns away and charge it with their laser katana. The conscripts take their AKs down and throw Molotovs. Hydrofoils swap from their anti-air gun to a gun that stops the enemy units from firing at all, like a jammer, which is really aggravating. The Apocalypse tank grabs someone, pulls them in, and shreds them down. Everything has an ability. The thing is that makes it a hell of a lot more micro-heavy, which I'm less of a fan of. I do feel like in Red Alert, once your opponent gets rid of your major fighting force, you're kind of done. There's a lot of comebacks in Kane's Wrath, and I think it has to do with the speed of the game and the map size. Red Alert maps feel really small, but things are still decently quick. In Kane's Wrath, the maps are way bigger, and things aren't decently quick, so there's still lots of time to recover. I have many a times just been rushed by twin blades, and that was my death. That was it. It was over. I have been rushed by dolphins that can't allow me to go anywhere in the sea. The Japanese Mekatangus just destroy everything I know and love. The Vindicators on the Allies. There are many times where I feel like my games are ending incredibly quick. Terror drone spam from the Soviets. The games just don't feel like they can turn around as quickly. So at the end of the day, you've got a streamlined system where there are no upgrades. Your powers are all in a tier system, and everything is more micro heavy instead of macro. That could be how Red Alert's always been, and if that's the case, then I mean totally fine, but that's not for me. I like Kane's Wrath a lot for all the opposite reasons of what I just said. Red Alert for me is completely held up by its great voice acting and also very good visuals. Look at the water effects in this game. It came out in 2009.
It looks
the
pretty
lighting
damn well.
effects, especially the amount of color, is something it does really well. And also, oh my god, the soundtrack. I didn't even mention the soundtrack.
I do love how it all looks. Oh, this is a good one. Also, a lot of the units look cool, which is important in RTS. Have to make people want to use them. All very well made. And they're giant robots. Oh, this is really good. The calm before. Nice.
I remember asking my chat which faction is the strongest in Red Alerts comparatively to everything else, and they all unanimously said the Allies. And it kind of made me confused for a while. Why the Allies? Like, I know Peacekeepers are strong. I know that the Vindicator spam is pretty good, but like, why specifically the Allies? And
I don't
they all
actually
said
know.
Cryocopters. And I
Oh
watched some pro
yeah!
games.
For those who don't know what the cryocopter can do, quite literally, if it shoots at you, it freezes your unit. Yeah. That's the cryocopter does. Its special ability is freeze your unit. Now it can't do anything.
And yeah, cryocopters are dumb. They run up to something, freeze it, and then said thing can basically be one-shot by anything in the game, no matter what, and it can't fight back. Does not matter the size. It also has a shrink ray, which makes said thing incredibly tiny, do almost no damage, and be like triple as weak. It is infuriating what I have watched with allied cryocopters. The allies look so overpowered. Their aircraft carriers are also insane. Assault destroyers, when used properly, can be kind of nuts. Oh, the Peacekeeper spam, weirdly enough, seems really good. Their Apollo fighters just fuck. And it's not to say that everything else doesn't have some good stuff. Mecha Tengus are pretty good. Those actually Wayforce artillery can be pretty nuts too. And the Empire has the best naval combat by far. Soviets, terror drones are really scary. Twin Blades are good. Kirovs are still good. But even so, like, the Allies, they seem a bit overtuned, and there could be mods and stuff to make this a little bit better. I haven't actually seen any personally, but I don't know if I would be able to, because you can't really play multiplayer in this game.
Bless America, says
like
Common.
Broken or down or something. You need to download mods or something to even play multiplayer, because EA, what's that? You put out a product and it's not working. Well, bye. It's too bad too, because I know there's a lot of people who don't like this game. They're just not a fan of this Red Alert, but I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's good for a couple of rounds of enjoying myself and being kind of silly and different and interesting. It's nowhere near as good as Kane's Wrath to me, but I also don't like some of the changes it made. So, you know, it could be a personal preference. Overall though, despite everything there, it does still feel like that era before the loot boxes, before the just make our money back era, where despite it being EA, despite all their dumbassery, it is a game that was made with care. It's dumb, it's cheesy, it's stupid, but it's meant to be, and it's fun for that. It is fun over balance to a T. And honestly, I'm really sad it's the last real Command and Conquer game. It is the one that put it in, well, it's not the one that put it in its grave, but it is the one right before it went to a grave. It was its final
still
hurrah,
a fun game.
And it's not the best, but it's
Especially
better than what they've been making. So, yeah.
They haven't
Red
made
Alert 3,
really anything
Tim
except
Curry
for that
looking
phone
at
game.
ass, Vine boom sound effect. Thank you all for watching this video. It was a pleasure having you all here. If you want to check out some merch, I have some new ones. I have a new shirt that I entirely based around Outer Wilds, one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's really solid and distinct enough.
Is a very
I just
good
love it.
game.
You can check that out. And also, I have an Elden Ring one, and it says Got Grace. It's in hoodies, black and white, as well as shirts, black and white. You can both check those out in the description, orchid8.com. And I have some questions. All right, I got 2 questions. Have I heard of the subreddit Armored Women? No, but I'm fucking gonna. What makes you huff the most copium? Honestly, the Kane's Wrath stuff. Kane's Wrath and the Death of Command and Conquer, that's some big fucking copium. It is cope to the max. What is an intellectual turnoff for you when listening to someone explain something? E.g., when someone portrays an opposing view with the most mocking voice they can come up with, it always turns off whatever else they have to say. Yeah. Often when I talk about something and there's an argument against it where I say, Red Alert 3 is very micro heavy, and then I'll say something like, you know, micro heavy is certainly a thing for most people. A lot of people find that to be more skillful, but I personally think that the macro takes a little bit more effort. Someone else would rephrase that as oh, but what about the macro level? You know, this micro, I want to micro this stuff. It's like, shut up. That particularly bugs the hell out of me when they do that kind of voice. I do it sometimes, but normally it's against an argument that's just really dumb.
They make a straw man
when people do
argument
that
to push down.
shitload, and they constantly use a mocking tone to anyone that is against them, absolutely. That's something that bugs the hell out of me. I also hate for my need to say, in my opinion, or to me, a lot when I make videos. Super often whenever I am trying to express something, I have to say, in my opinion, I don't really like it, or it didn't really do it for me. Because if I say, I don't think it's good, or I think this is a bad decision, that makes it more definitive, and people will get more angry because I am hard disagreeing as opposed to saying, I don't like it. That's like that weird fine line of reviewing something, saying I don't like it and it's bad is, it's hard to differentiate the two of them because everything is subjective, so you never know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. March was a...
For example, the new DMC anime does not look good. Well, in terms of art design, it looks good. In terms of story, it does not. We're probably gonna get like one angry comment saying, no, it's the best thing in the world. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion, man. Good for you. You can enjoy it. I can't. Anyway.
You can't find enjoyment in that kind of thing, but...
It's the problem they made where... Well, me and some friends, like, I'm not the biggest fan of DMC, but I'm somewhat of a fan. And my friends who are, like, bigger fans into it are just like, yeah, no. This show is no. Anyway. Thank all of you so much. If you like what I'm doing here, you can have fun, I don't know, some stuff, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.